Hey Royals, this is Mademoiselle Mosley. How's all my Royals doing today? I hope y'all doing royally good. I got something on my mind and I got a few notes. Maybe I have a few quotes too. I'm not sure. But I'm gonna use my notes on this one because I don't wanna miss none. On this one, because I don't wanna miss none. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. We as people, we wait on God to move. Or is he waiting on us to move? I really believe that God is waiting on us to believe that the move has already been made. But also, when we're expecting God to make a move, he said faith without works is dead. We have to have faith in what we're working on. And I thought about something too. It's like when we waiting on God, it's like, have you ever had a moment where you did one thing and that one thing moved everything? It's like, imagine this. Somebody standing at a gate for 20 years doing their job. They've been wanting a promotion or wanting to move from that job to another job, but couldn't seem to find what it is that they're looking for. And this one particular person that God was waiting to come to the gate, and he had you at the gate to make an opening so the person can come through the gate. And after you did that one move, your whole life transitioned. It just started everything that you wanted. See, we think sometimes in the work of God, and I'm not saying that this is the whole thing, that we have just an abundance of things to do, before the thing that we won't get done. Sometimes it's just one move. Checkmate. One move that will cause your whole life to move in the most greatest movement. Because God had you positioned to help somebody that was in a disposition. And once you did that, once you fulfilled that mission, he gave you permission to move on to the next. And I just believe that's just how simple it is. But, some people make things complex, but I don't think God is complex. Like he says, write down the vision and make it plain. He didn't say you had to have eloquent speech and all this kind of stuff. I think it's really plain. But people have such a disbelief in plain because they make life so complicated, because all the things that they've been through, all the things that they've done, and this, that, and you had to do. Sometimes it's just open the door, let them through, and go on about you. So it's not that complicated. Love is not complicated. Love is only complicated when you're trying to fool somebody that you really care about them. So you have to play this game and you got to do it this way and that way. All that is for the birds. Ain't nobody trying to do that. Ain't nobody trying to do all that. So I got to that part. So, and I also there's, all the other people that waited on God. I thought about it. I thought about the man that was on the mat for 38 years. Can you believe waiting on God for 38 years? I know, don't y'all get discouraged. I ain't saying you got to wait 38 years. And then you think about also David. He waited 22 years to be king. And Moses wandered in the desert for 40 years. 40 years. Now there's different stipulations why the time frame remains the time frame, but they were waiting on God, and I just truly believe that God was waiting on them. Like sometimes God is waiting for you to mature. Or God is waiting for you to think pure. Or God is trying to see if you can endure. Sometimes that be the way. And then somebody, oh, the woman with the issue of blood. She went through that for 12 years. And she touched the hem of his garment. Just touched the hem and it was healed. It was her faith, it said, that healed her. Because when she touched Jesus, it said that the reason why Jesus knew all the crowd was against them and everything. And he said to the disciples, who touched me? He said, a lot of people touched me. He said, no. Somebody touched me. And when they touched me, they drew power from me. Ooh. Baby, ain't that something to draw power from the power source? And the power source has a voice and says, who is that touched me? Oh, I just thought that was amazing. And Jacob, he waited 14 years, when he wanted to marry Rachel. He labored for 14 years. But see, all those things people say he waited on God to bless him. But I believe he was waiting on Jacob to understand that what he did. See, Jacob's uncle, Laban, he married, I guess this could be his cousin. But he got tricked into marrying Leah, the one he didn't want. But then he turned around and, 14 years later and married Rachel. But you know what I think was so funny about that? When Jacob and his mother tricked his brother out of his inheritance, and she sent him to his uncle Laban so that Esau wouldn't kill him, and because of what he did, and then went to his uncle's house. He was a trickster too, stuff being families. The mama was a trickster, tricked the daddy into giving Jacob the blessing, which Esau was supposed to get the blessing. All the stuff. Read about that. That story is good. It'll learn you something. And then he went with his lion self and went to his uncle's house. His uncle lied to him like his mama lied to his daddy. So it's like it comes back to you. It comes back to you. So anyway, and another person, Joseph. He spent 13 years in slavery before he became the second in command to live out the very dream or vision that God gave him, that his brothers would be bowing down to him, that he would be the moon and they would be bowing down to him. I believe I got the story correct. If not, check it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's the best thing to do anyway. But eventually it did happen because he ended up being second command, and when his family was hungry, they came to exactly where he was. They didn't recognize him because he had changed so much, but he recognized them. And he even blessed those. He blessed those who cursed him, who did him wrong. Even though it's his family, it was very hurtful, all the things that happened. But if God is for you, he can be more than the world that is against you. If God is for us, he can be more than the world that is against us. So I just want y'all to be encouraged on your wait, and just know that your wait is not in vain, and that this is one thing I want you to hear that I said throughout everything I just said. If you learn the lesson, that's the blessing. If you learned the lesson, that's the blessing. Whatever you're going through and whatever God is trying to teach you, when you learn what he is teaching you, that's the blessing. Everybody don't learn the lesson. They keep doing the same lesson over and over again. They don't get it, that no matter how you do it, it's only one way it need to be done. So go ahead and just get it right, live right, love hard, be true, and then the residue won't be on you. You'll get the real results, not the fake results. Have somebody ever took a test for you and they got an A on it and you just glad you passed it, but you didn't pass it. They passed it. They just passed the paper to you to get you through. But when you learn it for yourself, you feel like you have accomplished something greater than if you allowed somebody else. So I hope that helped y'all on y'all wait on God. I hope you learned the lesson. And if you learned the lesson, that's the blessing. And until y'all stay blessed, don't stress. Happy New Year to everybody that made it to 2023, baby. All right then, Royals. Like I say, get it before it gets you. Like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.